Word is withdrawn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This simply strikes the last 8 lines in Article 1 and then the last 8 lines in Article 2. Look, you have a rigged and rushed process when you don't have the facts on your side. We've been through these facts many times. Ukraine didn't know aid was held up at the time of the call, but the Democrats assert that President Trump was pressuring Zelensky on the call to investigate the Bidens in order to get the aid that he didn't even know was on hold. That's their argument. And oh, by the way, down the road, President Zelensky says there was no pressure on the call, no pushing, no linkage whatsoever. But you have a rigged and rushed process when you don't have the facts. You have a rigged and rushed process when you can't accept the will of the American people. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, called the president an imposter just 3 weeks ago. The Democrats have never accepted the will of the American people, and that's why they've been out to get this president since even before he was elected. And of course, you have a rigged and rushed process when you're afraid that you can't beat the president at the ballot box. When you're nervous about next fall's election, you have this kind of process, a rigged and rushed process. This is not about the concern. This is not really about the concern Mr. Swalwell talked about earlier, concern that somehow the president was going to do something wrong and try to influence the election. No. This is about their concern that they can't win next year based on what the president has accomplished in the past 3 years. I mean, it's an amazing record. In spite of the Democrats being completely against the president, in spite of the mainstream press being against the president, frankly, in spite of a few Republicans being against the president, it's amazing what's been accomplished. Taxes have been cut, regulations reduced, the economy growing at an unbelievable rate, lowest unemployment in 50 years, 266,000 jobs added last month alone, 54,000 in the manufacturing sector. Mr. Gorsuch, Mr. Kavanaugh on the court, a lot of other federal judges confirmed. Out of the Iran deal, embassy in Jerusalem, hostages home from North Korea, new NAFTA agreement going to be voted on next week. Yeah, you guys are, it's a rigged rush process because you're nervous about next November. Mr. Green says we have to impeach him because he's going to win the election. We know what this is about. I think about this president. Think about this is why the American people like him so much, is because he is doing what he said he would do. In every presidential election I've been able to participate in, both candidates, Republican and Democrat candidate, when they campaign for the job, they tell the country, if you elect me, I'm going to move the embassy to Jerusalem. Republicans, Democrats, they all campaign on it. And then they get elected, and they come up with a million reasons why they can't do what they said they were going to do. More importantly, what the American people elected them to do. And they never get it done. But this president said, nope, I'm going to do it. Even though the same people, the same interagency consensus that we've heard so much about over the last 3 months in this impeachment inquiry, even though that same interagency consensus was probably against him on that move, this president said, I'm going to do it. And it's been a good thing. And that's what the American people appreciate. And that's why we got this rigged and rushed process, because it's really about next November. They're all afraid. Some of their colleagues have said it straight up. They're all afraid that they can't beat him at the ballot box, so they're going to do this rigged, rushed, and wrong impeachment process. So I would urge a yes vote on the amendment. I would yield the remainder of my time to the